Hi, you all. Thank you all so much for coming back. Listen here. Welcome back to the Queen Hosts Show. I'm so excited to have you here. Today is June the 17th. The current year is 2025. The current time is 5:07 p.m. Central Time. Listen here. Day 25 of Drug Mule testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. In today's update on the high-profile trial of Sean Diddy Combs, the jury has been dismissed for the day, with proceedings set to resume tomorrow. The court will hear from DeLeassa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, who is expected to provide crucial testimony. Today's session saw the dismissal of juror number 6 due to inconsistencies in their disclosures regarding their residence. Additionally, the jury was presented with 3 explicit video clips depicting sexual encounters, marking a significant moment in the trial, as it is the first time such footage has been shown to the jury. Combs faces serious federal charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking, to which he has pleaded not guilty. If convicted on all counts, he could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. Stay tuned for more updates as the case unfolds. Listen here, I want to thank you all so much for coming out today. And I do want to go ahead and play this clip of what we do have. We do have Word on the Curb, and if we can go ahead and cue that up right now, producers. All right, we'll be right back.
Trafficking trial. It could rest the case as early as tomorrow. Now, right now, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office is continuing her 2-day testimony. She is reviewing travel records, hotel charges, and phone records that are all tied to the case. And another juror's fate is still up in the air. There are now questions about whether juror number 7 improperly discussed the case with a former colleague. The judge is expected to take up that issue after court today. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas joins us now from outside.
Thank you all so much. I wanted to say this. First and foremost, let's get right into it, because this case is pretty much, I want to say it's a little tricky, because at the beginning, I know like a lot of people were saying, well, these girls, they wanted to be there. They kept going back and things like that, but y'all are missing the small pieces to the puzzle. And that is, Diddy is paying for these things with his company credit cards. He was booking flights for these male escorts to fly in and things like that. Y'all are forgetting that some of these guys were contacted. Hey, are you available for Valentine's Day weekend? Okay, you're in Atlanta. How was this being paid for? And then when they got there, they were also compensated, right? They were also compensated for their entertainment and the experience, right? But you also have to understand this. I know Armand Wiggins did an interview the other day with one of the guys that had been intimate with Cassie. Now, what he said was when he had got there, there were rugs on the table. It was like this table, and each section was something different. He said he had brought his own party favors there. And that's pretty much what it was. And he also said that he kept him a pointy in his boot, okay, in case anything had got a little wild and rowdy. But let's get into this. Let's get back into this audio. Let's take a listen.
Outside the courthouse. So, Chloe, court opened this morning with the judge reprimanding the defense and the prosecution about an online article. Walk us through what happened here.
So I was inside the courthouse this morning trying to figure out what article was the judge referencing. So there's a lot of speculation as to which outlet, but basically there was information in said article that upset the judge that was private. He talked about how both sides, he was threatening to reprimand the government and the lawyers for Combs, even Mark Agnifilo, who's one of Combs' attorneys, at one point saying, this is very bad. So neither side wants to upset the judge, who has been relatively pleasant.
Okay, so let's get into this part. Let's get into the fact that the judge had already set the rules out. Whatever we discussing here, we're going to keep it in here. And even with the Jane Doe situations, nobody say nobody name, nobody report anything. There were sealed documents or sealed statements that should have not left that courtroom. And see, this is a little thing right here that I think that people are missing is Jane Doe has Diddy paying for her attorneys and things like that. So when I thought about, okay, a story is leaking, this, that, and the third, I automatically thought of Jane Doe because he's paying her rent, which is $10,000 a month. He's paying for her attorneys. She even had to switch attorneys. They're saying that he has no clue about what the attorneys are talking about. But when it comes down to it, I feel like there is a conflict of interest. And if there was any leakage of any footage, I will point to, if I have to guess right off the top of my head, it will be Jane Doe's lawyer, or it be Jane Doe, somebody in that circle. What was she told? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I feel as though in my mind that Jane Doe is working close with Diddy. I feel like Jane Doe is there to bring back the crumbs of whatever is being discussed over here that Diddy and his team does not know about. And it kind of gives them, in my opinion, a heads up when it's time to come back and fire off. But now that she's off the stand, and now we've got Brendan Paul. If you all don't know who Brendan Paul is, that was a mule that was out there was about to board that plane, and Homeland Security or the airport security, somebody with big forces had come and they stopped everybody. They started they put them in handcuffs and started taking names later. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into it.
These entire about 7 weeks long, but he's taking this very seriously. Going to get to the bottom of this because look, there's a lot of conversations that don't happen in the open forum of the courtroom that happen in his robing room and the chambers, and a lot of things that maybe the prosecutors and the lawyers know about that they're not supposed to be talking about. But like you said, juror chaos right now. One being dismissed because he couldn't give a straight answer about where he was living. Combs' defense team saying that it was racially motivated to dismiss him. The judge was very upset about that allegation yesterday and said that it had nothing to do with race.
Okay, so what does this sound like to me? This sounds like Puffy's history. Back in the day, Puffy got he got away with a lot of things, and people are not realizing this. And see, when you are in federal court, baby, they have your whole file of what you've done in your life. When the feds are coming, baby, they are not coming because it's he say, she say, or what they heard on the street. They have done an investigation. They have put allegedly informants around and in those circles. And guess what? While you're out and you're partying and doing this and doing that, informants and people of the CIA and stuff, they be out here. They be out here and they be out here deep. So when you are out here and you're living a certain lifestyle and there are rugs involved and things like that, you have to think about it. Everybody's got to get paid. And guess what? Even though somebody is at way, way, way at the bottom, well, when they get arrested, they want to know who the big, big, big fish is, right? So we have to take that into consideration as well. Who's flipping? Who's talking? Who's trying to avoid that life sentence with Diddy? Do you actually think that people are saying, oh, well, I'll take a charge and I'll go right on down and I'll sit down with him for the rest of your life? No, you got to be serious here. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
The fact that he was a black man dismissing him, he was replaced coincidentally by a white man. And then now this other issue with another juror. What happened was he got a text message from someone asking him if he was number 6, and he brought that to the judge's attention. But now that has kind of devolved into, was he having?
So even with that, with a juror getting a text saying, hey, are you juror number 6? Violation, witness tampering, witness intimidation, and so these things are very, very important because we have to, who are these messages coming from? Are people being put on certain people? You know what I'm saying? Are the jurors being investigated? Is there a particular team that's out here doing research? From what I'm hearing, there are people close to Bad Boy record label that are in the audience, right? I don't know if they're there for intimidation. Are they trying to, remember faces and things like that, trying to figure out, put the pieces on whatever? You got to remember, some of these people, they are talking, but just not on camera. And I feel like somebody is going to have audio of wearing a wire. Some wire information, wire recording is going to come up in this case. So y'all just remember that y'all heard it here first. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get into it.
Conversations with this former colleague, and that's going to be unpacked today, and we could see him being dismissed as well.
And Chloe, we know a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office returned to the stand today. She talked about travel records that were included in the evidence when it comes to the prosecution's case for transportation to engage in prostitution. Those are some of the charges that Combs is facing. How did this witness testimony factor into that?
Vicky, you are exactly right. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is in an effort at the end now of the prosecutor's case to really hammer home the point that they believe that Combs used his businesses to pay for these male escorts to take part in these freak-offs, like you said, showing flight records.
And so right there, that's how it's like you have to get, I believe it's like 8 charges that Diddy has on him, right? They only have to prove 2. They only have to prove 2. So when we are talking about Diddy and things like that, I feel like there's somebody above him. Is he going to start talking? Is he going to start talking? Is he going to start talking, or can he even talk? Because remember, they were saying that he was going to testify in his own trial. Now, the attorneys were saying, I think I heard word on the curb or out here on the block somewhere, where they feel like, no, it would not be in his best interest to testify. What are your thoughts? You let me know. Let's listen to the last piece of this, and I'll go ahead and read the article.
Hotel reservations, text exchanges, putting Cassie Ventura or Jane, right, Combs' former girlfriends, Diddy himself, and these escorts in the same place at the same time, and showing these receipts to really hammer home to the jury that this is a part of a RICO conspiracy, and this is a part of transportation to engage in prostitution, really trying to lay it out in black and white before jury deliberations begin in what could be about 2 weeks.
All right, Chloe Malas live in Manhattan for us. Chloe, thank you.
All right. Okay. So what you need to know about the trial, okay, let me go ahead and make sure I'm audio in. Everybody can hear me. All right. Y'all can see me. I'm moving over here. Hopefully y'all can hear me in the audience. And thank you all for tuning in and joining in with me going through this trial. I know, trigger warning, it can be a little tough for all of us. However, I have to cover this story. And this is what you need to know about the trial. One, the fate of a juror who might have spoken improperly about the case with a former colleague was left unresolved when Judge Aron Sumerian left the bench yesterday. Another juror had been dismissed earlier yesterday after he allegedly had given conflicting answers about where he lives, too. Sean Diddy Combs' former assistant, Brendan Paul, is expected to take the witness stand today. 3, Combs faces 5 criminal counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs has vociferously denied the allegations against him. 4, the live briefing may include graphic description of sexual violence. For resources on sexual assault, call the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. Okay, 6, okay, we're going to go ahead and get into this. Jury dismissed for the day. Parties remain to discuss court matters. The jury and the general public have been dismissed for the day as the parties remain to discuss issues in private with Judge Sumerian. Before the public cleared the court, the prosecution said they are not likely to rest their case before Friday. Prosecutor Maureen Comey noted that Penland's testimony took longer than expected, and Brendan Paul has yet to be called to the stand. Get into this. Ventura and Combs nearly had freak-offs day. Ventura and Combs nearly had freak-off day before beating. Ventura and Combs had considered doing a freak-off on March the 4th, 2016, one day before his infamous videotape beating of her at a Los Angeles hotel. They ended up not doing it that day, according to a text chat, because of errands Ventura had to run. That beating played a pivotal role in Combs' downfall. Let's get into this. Ventura proposes cosplaying a one-night stand. The former girlfriend once proposed she and Combs cosplay a hotel bar pickup one-night stand, according to a text chat between them. She told Combs to meet her at her Heritage Hotel bar, where I am not Cassie and you're not Sean. If he needed to break character, the safe word would be pineapple, Ventura wrote. Now, whose word was pineapple? I want you guys to tell me that. He's a comedian, Kevin Hart, if you didn't remember. Ventura had previously testified to participating in this act as a last-ditch effort to save their relationship. Meeting up for freak off at Mandarin, okay? The defense hopes to show that Ventura didn't object to her role in Combs' freak off and was an enthusiastic participant. His attorney, Tinny Garagos, introduced one text chat in which Ventura wrote, LOL, sure, when? When asked by Combs to meet him for an October 31st, 2013, redemptions at a Mandarin hotel. Ventura previously testified to doing the freak-offs to keep Combs happy. And this is just a rundown of what they talked about today. Ventura once dreamed of having a baby with Combs. The Combs-Ventura relationship could be a roller coaster of emotion at any given moment. A high point was on June 16th of 2023. That was the anniversary yesterday when Ventura texts her then boyfriend, calling him an extraordinary man and saying she couldn't wait until we have a baby of our own to celebrate Father's Day. Penland resumes cross-examination. Court has returned from lunch and Penland has taken the witness stand once again to resume cross-examination. Now, court takes its daily lunch break. Jurors emptied the courtroom for the daily lunch break. Jury shown video blocked from public view. Okay, so jurors are wearing headphones and watching a video that was likely explicit footage similar to what they were shown on Monday afternoon. While Excuse me. While both the sound and actual footage were blocked from the courtroom audience's view, some sound from the headphones placed on the table could be picked up by microphones. The sound appeared to be of excited communications rather than routine conversation. Agent pushes back on defense questions over lack of Cassie text and evidence chart. Yergos continued to point out loving texts between Combs and Ventura that were missing in the prosecution's chart, but the special agent on the witness stand resisted. The defense continued to review texts from Ventura that appeared to be loving or encouraging of freak-offs, noting their absence from the government's evidence presentation. Penland told the court that her job was not to add anything to the government's presentation, but to review what was included. The chart was based on evidence showing who was at specific gatherings and locations, she said. Geragos then pointed to a date on which the chart doesn't show Combs' name to indicate he was present at a specific gathering. Texts show Combs and Ventura routinely check calendars for freak-off dates. In its ongoing bid to prove Combs' freak-offs were consensual acts, the defense read through texts that show music mogul and then girlfriend Cassie Ventura routinely exchanging dates for their next renditions. It can be any date you choose, Combs text on August the 5th of 2009. In one text, Ventura responded that a Friday night would work best for her, so she could have the rest of the weekend to physically recover ahead of the next work week. But Ventura added that if they couldn't make their schedules work for the weekend of August 7th through 9th, she wouldn't be free again until August the 28th. The defense showed a text from Ventura to Combs on August the 7th when she appears to tell him she's looking forward to performing oral on him. The defense picks at details of the prosecution's evidence charts. Combs' attorney, Tenny Geragos, took a cross-examination of Penland, who reviewed evidence presented in charts by the government. The defense nitpicked at different parts of the evidence charts, noting that some sections were lacking. Some dates of hotel meetings between Combs and escorts didn't have Ventura's name. Geragos pointed out as one potential inaccuracy. Penland testified that there were many times when another person was present, but did not have evidence to put their name in the chart. Penland said they did not have the names of every potential person at gatherings. After 2016 hotel assault, phone records show Combs demanded Ventura's return. A panicked Combs called and texted Ventura to come back in the wake of his videotape beating of her at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Phone records admitted into evidence show Combs told Ventura that officers were on their way to arrest him, though that was not the case, as no one called police to the International Continental Hotel on March the 5th, 9 years ago. I'm about to be arrested, he texted Ventura, calling her 5 times in 22 minutes with no answers. Hotels charged Combs' business thousands for damages to rooms. Now, this right here, this is where it just shows that his business money was utilized to pay for damages, from the baby oil to the furniture, whether they had a wild night or whether he just wanted to put the dukes up and damage was made. That is how he paid for this, allegedly. According to receipts shown through Special Agent Penland, hotels charged Combs' businesses thousands of dollars for damage to their rooms after his traveling party checked out. The Beverly Hills Hotel billed Combs $500 for damage to drapes and carpets, and the Hermitage Hotel $950 for deep cleaning. But the most eye-popping big-ticket bill shown today came from the Intercontinental Hotel, which charged Combs $46,000, $786 for penthouse damage, October the 5th of 2012. Travel charges for sex workers included on credit card paid for by Combs. A sex worker's round trip travel from Los Angeles to New York in August of 2009 appears to have been paid for by Combs, according to Penland's testimony. Prosecutor Emily Johnson had Penland testify to records showing Jules Theodore's travel, including flights and hotels, paid for by an American Express card. Penland testified that it was Combs' credit card, and those charges were included in his September 2009 card payment. Okay, get into it. Ventura previously testified that Theodore was an escort she and Combs often employed to have sex with her during freakouts early in their relationship. Okay, so now it's all starting to tie in because people are having questions. Oh, it's just about the ladies. Oh, it's about this. It's about everything as a whole. But what they're doing is they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, and then they go, get you with a right hook, before you know it. Let's get into it. Special Agent DeLeassa Penland returns to the stand. DeLeassa Penland, a special agent with the U.S. Attorney's Office, has returned to the witness stand this morning. Penland did not work on the Combs investigation, but reviewed evidence in the case that she testified about yesterday. She went into travel records for Combs, Cassie Ventura, and at least one sex worker for the couple frequently employed. This testimony appears to bolster the government's case for the transportation to engage in prostitution charges levied against Combs. So what they're saying is, okay, well, he flew these people in, he paid it from his American Express, he paid it from this business account. And so this is how this wasn't a business, this wasn't a business meeting, a legit business meeting, like you're flying somebody in, have a meeting. Okay, we're thinking about doing a show with you. Now that would be legit business expense when it's time for write-off, but this right here. So now you got the big boy, Uncle Sam, the IRS. So now I'm pretty sure the IRS is in the court because they're trying to see, okay, well, you were spending this and this and this, but did you put this on your tax return or did you falsify any documents? So now, not only is he in trouble with the federal government, he's in trouble with Uncle Sam, allegedly. Brendan Paul pleads the fifth and receives immunity. Brendan Paul, who worked for Combs, took the stand to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination before taking the stand later today. He was granted an immunity order, which requires him to tell the truth to protect himself from prosecution. Jury was told that juror number 6 was excused and not to discuss the matter among themselves. So this is my thing. Did juror number 2, when he got excused, did he feel like it was a free pass to go and talk about the case? Did he talk to an exclusive source? So you got to understand is there are court reporters in there. There are journalists. There are media outlets. So everybody can see these people's faces. So juror number 6, will you be facing some contempt? Yesterday, defense attorney Alexandra Shapiro asked the judge what he told the other jurors about why juror number 6 was suddenly gone and off the panel. Samarianen said the other jurors were told that juror number 6 was excused. They were also told not to discuss the case or the issue among themselves. The issue with juror number 7 will be dealt with after court today. Oh, so juror number 6, juror number 7, were they sitting next to each other? Prosecutors could rest their case tomorrow. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey revealed the government will likely rest its case against Combs tomorrow, but it could go into Friday morning. Combs attorney Mark Agnifilio said that the defense would present his case in 2 to 5 days of trial, but the timing is not set in stone. A jury charge could come next week, Judge Samarian said. So let's get into this. Judge rebukes prosecution and defense over online article. So court opened this morning with Samarian asking the prosecution and defense about an online article that appeared to include details from a sealed proceeding. Samarian was livid and asked both sides if they knew the article's source. He said, someone is lying. The transcript was sealed. One or more people who were here Friday in this courtroom flagrantly violated this court's orders, a violation of the court's sealing order, but it wasn't just that, he said. The court imposed a gag order on the government, the defendant, all attorneys for the defense, and anyone involved was made accountable. He continued, violation of the order. What happened here may result in civil or criminal attempts charges for all involved. So this is my thing. I kind of feel like Jane Doe. I kind of feel like this is what Jane Doe. I feel like this is what Jane Doe, because if y'all remember when Jane Doe had got off the stand, she walked, she sashayed down, she serenaded, and she went and hugged Diddy's defense lawyer. Clock it. The judge warned Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey and lead defense counsel Mark Agnifilio, there is no passing the buck anymore. The buck stops with you. If anything happens, lead counsel is responsible. Court is now in session, marking day 25 of Combs' trial. Jury was shown freak-offs videos. Okay, I'm almost done, y'all. Okay, so jury was shown freak-off videos for the first time. Yesterday, jurors were shown videos of freak-offs mentioned in testimony for the first time. The videos, which involved Combs, his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and sex workers at a New York City hotel, were from 2012 to 2014 and were shown in short clips. Some jurors reacted visibly to the graphic tapes. The video was shown only to jurors and not the gallery or the media. Here's a recap of yesterday. Yesterday in court, Anaya Stanker, a paralegal for the U.S. Attorney's Office, reviewed the case text and call logs. Text showed that Combs' employees joked about how the music mogul hired male escorts for drug-fueled freak-offs. Combs also asked employees to pick up illegal drugs such as 15 pills of Molly. The text showed DeLeassa Penland, U.S. Attorney's Office special agent, spoke about the Combs investigations charts and the data she reviewed. Penland reviewed flight records belonging to Julius Theodore, an escort frequently hired to engage in freak-offs with Combs and Ventura. Questioning over the flight and hotel arrangements appeared to support the transportation to engage in prostitution charges Combs faced. Once again, once you're swiping that business card for extracurricular activities, yeah, you're out of bounds, because like I said, once again, once you are doing these write-offs, like I said, Uncle Sam, the IRS has to be in this courtroom. All right, the fate of another juror was left unresolved yesterday. When Judge Aron Samarian left the bench yesterday afternoon, the fate of another juror who might have spoken improperly about the case with a former colleague, get into it, remained unresolved. Earlier yesterday, the court said a second juror might have acted improperly and that his fate would be decided after testimony. So we know it's two men, but when Samarian sent jurors home, the issue wasn't addressed. Samarian had dismissed a juror earlier in the day for giving conflicting answers about where he lives. The juror, a 41-year-old Black man, might live in New Jersey and outside the bounds of the Southern District of New York. Who is expected to testify today? U.S. Attorney's Office Special Agent DeLeassa Penland is set to continue her testimony today. While she did not work directly on this case, Penland was tasked with reviewing the Combs investigation charts and data. Brenda Paul, one of the Combs' former personal assistants, and two summary witnesses are also expected to testify. So that is your daily recap of what happened, what went down in court today. What are your thoughts? Let's go ahead and get into the comments. All right, we got Ronnie in the building. Hey, Ronnie, how are you doing? You said Queen Tulsa. Let's get into it today. Yes, let's get into it. Larry Conscious says, hey, Queen Tulsa child. Hi, how are you? Oh, hey. Let me drop the link in case anybody wants to come up. I just wanted to cover the story. Sorry, I was over here reading my articles. I wanted to get y'all the music. I mean the music, the information out really, really quickly. If anybody wants to come up, a Black man, but not too many understand he has a plan not to work for Uncle Sam. Smooth, featuring Tupac. And then you also say, child, they some gossipers. They discussing it all. Today, child. You said I I'd be ringing my homework every night. Girl, guess what? The dirty bastard. Yes, girl, he did it. Oh, girl. He said, you look hot, Tulsa. You look like the Black Evelyn Gloria if she worked at a middle school. You are so wrong with that. Okay, you said worked as a middle school teacher by day and at night worked the street child. I know that's right. Oh, look at you. You are something else. I see you out there doing your big one in New York. Shout out to you. I'm so excited for all the content creators that are out there in New York that are covering this story and that are making headlines, that are breaking barriers. And shout out to Miss Wendy Williams. You guys keep her lifted up in prayers because Miss Wendy Williams, definitely, where y'all are now is the stumping grounds of Miss Wendy Williams, you know, when she got ran up out of New York. So that is history that you guys are standing on. And also credit Miss Wendy Williams and always think about her and include her into your entertainment and your blogs. Keep her name alive. If anybody wants to come in, I'll go ahead and drop the link. If anybody wants to come up and sound off. Today is a pleasant day, and I want to know you guys' thoughts. What are your thoughts? How do you think court went? You know, do you think that Diddy's team is really fighting hard for him? Do you think that prosecution is going to come back with a left hook, a right hook, and really make it sting, you know? So we'll give you guys a few seconds. Let's go ahead and thank you right quick. And then when we come back, if we don't have anybody else, we'll go ahead and conclude the broadcast. Thank you all so much for supporting Queen Tulsa, the show, whether it's a like, a share, a subscribe, a Cash App, a PayPal, or a Zelle. Thank you for coming by and watching the show. And this is your commercial for being acknowledged for just being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, who would be watching? Thank you for tuning in. All right, so we had nobody to call into the show today, but I do want to thank you so much for coming out and watching us today and engaging into the broadcast. And make sure you share this out. This was your recap for how court went today on Tuesday, June the 17th of 2025. The current time right now is 5:43 p.m. Central. I'm your host, Queen Tulsa, reporting live from New York. Until next time.